Part 9. Kendrick Lamar. I take a sip of Hennessy and then get pissy drunk. I ain't a drinker, I'm a thinker, call it what you want. But if you turn your back, know that you just missed your chance to witness the realest shit that's ever been told to man. I found myself losing focus at a Sunday service. Embarrassed, so I start questioning God, what is my purpose? He say to live the way he did, that's all he want from me. Spread the word and witness, he rose on the first Sunday. I said alright, enthused that my Lord gave a listen. I opened my Bible and searched to be a better Christian. And this from a person that never believed in religion. But shit, my life is so fucked up, man, I can't help but give in. I'm giving testimonies to strangers I never met. Hopped on the pulpit and told them how I was truly blessed. Felt like I'm free from all my sins when the service was over. Walked out the church, then got a call that my homie was murdered. And lost my faith again.
What am I gonna do? Gotta have faith. Life is too much, I'm just a where is the old faith?
Raising children of four. That's 4 Hennets and bastards, cause Papa they don't know. Her day consists of working back and forth with babysitters. Can't find no one to watch her kids, so she pay her sister. Her baby daddy ain't bout shit, that nigga ain't bout shit. Spit this daughter milk just to cop a new outfit. She pray to God every night, hoping that he'll mature. And maybe one day his kid's something that he'll live for. Baby wanna go back to school, but she needs some help. Because it's hard trying to pay the bills when you're by yourself. She thought about credit card scams till she heard a voice that said the devil is a lie, make a better choice. And so it's back to McDonald's and every month dealing with them crazy ass people at the county building. Look to the heavens and ask them to make a better way. They got a letter in the mail, lost her Section 8, then lost her faith again.
What am I gonna do? Gotta have faith. Life is too much, I'm just a where is the old faith?
Appreciate the opportunity to vent, my nigga. They say faith without work. I'm working. I had dreams of holding a 9mm, the race killer. Hack some wires, my eyes fill up. Each day it gets more realer. Orangutans bang like gorillas. The jungle when the niggas in soup. The rats lurking, vultures circling the serpents, cats lying through their teeth. My nigga didn't deserve it. I flirted with the ideal of caressing the steel to make karma come faster than she normally will. It's ill to see my fate try and leave me. It's so hard to get it, to get rid of it, it's easy. I'm trying to reach cloud 9, that's what my niggas bout. But it never rained in California, let some pistols out. Until then, my feet planted on the ground, shadowboxing my conscience till my fate start responding. And if I get no answer, just know I tried. I should've never looked into a son's eyes. Ray Shine, boy.
What am I gonna do? Gotta have faith. Life is too much, I'm just a where is the old faith? All you need is the size of
This for my
a
people that stressing whenever times is hard. Your mind slipping, wondering is there really a God? Knowing you shouldn't think that way and try to freeze your brain. But whenever it's pain, that feeling forever remains. We can't believe what we can't see, and reality seems stronger than prayer. Cause you tried to change your life and now you live in a wheelchair. And your son was born with cancer and he live in urgent care at the tender age of 12. And you feel that no one cares, searching for answers, that's human nature. You ain't in the wrong, just know when you feeling that way, his spirit's in the room. I watch people I know pray and catch the Holy Ghost, and wonder why I ain't never caught that feeling before. Maybe they know I'm better, or I don't know no better. But what I do know is that he's real and he lives forever. So the next time you feel like your world's about to end, I hope you study because he's testing your faith again. I'd rather not live like there isn't a God than die and find out there really is. Think about it.
Alright, we're gonna dive right on in this thing. How y'all doing this morning? How are y'all doing? I hope everyone is doing well. Trying to make sure that oh, I have it last night. Anywho, we are about to begin getting this juicy information about how our mind really works and how we create our reality. Yes. So we stopped on page 26. We're on chapter 1, the quantum U. And let's begin. Just gonna dive right on in this thing. And as usual, if I see something I gotta talk about, I shall talk about it. Okay, so page 27, the quantum U. But is reality nothing but indifferent electromagnetic forces acting on and in response to one another? Is the animating spirit within us simply a function of biology and randomness? Biology and randomness. I've had conversations with people who hold this view. Ultimately, the decision leads to a dialogue that goes something like this. Where does the intelligence that keeps our heart beating come from? That's a part of a autonomic nervous system. Where is the system located? The brain. The brain's limbic system is part of the autonomic nervous system. And within the brain are these specific tissues that are responsible for keeping the heart beating. It said, and within the brain are there specific tissues that are responsible for keeping the heart beating? He says, yes. What are those tissues made of? Cells. And what are those cells made of? Molecules. And what are those molecules made of? Atoms. And what are those atoms made up of? Subatomic particles. And what are those subatomic particles primarily composed of? Energy. When we arrive at the conclusion that our sociology vehicle is made up of the same stuff as the rest of the universe, and these folks bump up against the notion that what emanates the body is a form of energy, the same 99.99999%, nothing, that constitutes the physical universe. They either shrug and walk away or come to the realization that there is something to this notion, that a unifying principle pervades all of our physical reality. Isn't it ironic that isn't it ironic then that we keep all of our attention on the 0.00001% of reality that is physical? Are we missing something? If this nothing consists of energy waves that carry information, and this force organizes our physical structures and their functioning, then it certainly makes sense to refer to the quantum field as an invisible intelligence. And since energy is at the base of all physical reality, that intelligence I've just described to you has organized itself into matter. Think of the preceding conversation as a kind of template for how this intelligence has constructed reality. Okay, what I gotta say about that, remember when I was telling y'all about, well, that's if y'all watched the video, how reality ain't real. It's like we in a simulation, but we've been in it so long that it feels real. Just like a dream. A dream feels real. But when we wake up, then we in this reality. That's another reality within itself, the dream world. Right? So it's like that movie Inception. How do you know that you awoken in your real world other than inside of a dream. How would you know this? How do you know your real world ain't a dream and your dream ain't the real world? How do you know this? That's just a question of mine. Which I would say all of it is real, because if we can feel some type of way about something, or if we can receive new information about something, it's real to us, even if nobody else didn't experience it. That's what imagination is. Something that we can like kind of conjure up in our own minds, and that imagination can give us a whole new perspective of something, yet we ain't even experienced it. We just came up with it based upon probably a movie we seen, or based upon, you know, a song we just heard, or anything. But we, our own self, can construct images and ideals within our own mind. I just had to say that. Okay. Think of the preceding conversation as a kind of template for how this intelligence has constructed reality. The quantum field is invisible potential energy that is able to organize itself from energy to subatomic particles to atoms to molecules and on up the line to everything. From our why I keep making that word? Sociologist's perspective, it organizes molecules into cells, into tissues, into organs, into systems, and finally into this body as a whole. Put another way, this potential energy lowers itself as a frequency of wave patterns until it appears silent. It is this universal intelligence that gives life to that field and everything in it, including you and me. This power is the same universal mind that animates every aspect of the material universe. This intelligence keeps our heart beating and our stomachs digesting food and oversees an incalculable number of chemical reactions per second that take place in every cell. Moreover, the same consciousness prompts trees to grow fruit and causes distant galaxies to form and collapse because it exists in all places and times and exerts its power within us and all around us. This intelligence is both personal and universal. As an extension of this intelligence, we can emulate it. Understand that this universal intelligence possesses the same awareness that makes us individuals, consciousness, or mindfulness. Even though this power is universal and objective, it does possess a consciousness, an awareness of self, and its own ability to move and act within the material universe. It is also completely mindful on all levels, not just of itself, but of you and me. Because this consciousness notices everything, it observes and pays attention to us. It is aware of our thoughts, our dreams, our behaviors, and our desires. It observes everything into physical form. How can a consciousness that has created all of life, that expends the energy and will to consistently regulate every function of our bodies to keep us alive, that has expressed such a deep and abiding interest in us, be anything but pure love? We've talked about two aspects of consciousness: the objective consciousness, intelligence of the field, and the subjective consciousness, that is, a free willed, self aware individual. When we emulate the properties of this awareness, we are becoming creators. When we feel resonance with this loving intelligence, we become like it. This intelligence will orchestrate an event, an energetic response to match whatever the subjective mind puts out into the quantum field. I'm going to read that again. This intelligence will orchestrate an event, an energetic response to match whatever the subjective mind puts out into the quantum field. When our will matches its will, when our minds matches its mind, when our love for life matches its love for life, we are enacting this universal consciousness. We become the elevated power that transcends the past, heals the present, and opens doors to the future. We get back what we send out. Here's how this orchestration of events work in our lives. Here we go, y'all. If we have experienced suffering and within our minds and body, we hold that suffering and express it through our thoughts and feelings, we broadcast that energetic signature into the field. The universal intelligence responds by sending into our lives another event that will produce the same intellectual and emotional response. I'm finna read that again. The universal intelligence responds by sending into our lives another event that will produce the same intellectual and emotional response. So, see, this is what's happening, y'all. It's a mirror effect going on. Whatever we believe, it has no choice but to show up in the external world. See, majority of the times, we are not focused. We are not aware of what we're thinking about. We on autopilot. And since we on autopilot, we just doing things that we normally do, not even putting any thought to it. We half of the time we don't even know why we're doing half of the things we're doing, or saying, or watching, or listening to. We just do it. But when we do that unconsciously, we are creating our reality. That's why you have to be purposeful. That's why you have to be present. Because it's like your focus is like the paintbrush of each experience that you're going to be attracting within your life. And so every time that you're present, then you are the author of it. Even if you're unconscious, you're still the author of it. But if you're present, then you can pretty much pinpoint how your reality gonna turn out. Yours now. Don't forget about what I talk about, the co-creators. Whoever is in your life and has some kind of influence over your mind, meaning how your day-to-day activity turns out, then they gonna affect your reality as well. Even if they don't know it or not, but they will. Unless you are a not a strong, but a strong-willed person, a strong-minded person, then you'll be able to, divert those energies that comes your way based upon the co-creators. When we feel resonance with this living intelligence, we become like it. This intelligence will orchestrate an event, an energetic response to me. Oh, we back. We at the bottom, ain't it? Yeah. Our thoughts send the signals out. I am suffering. And our emotions, I am suffering, draw into our lives. See, when it says our thoughts send out the signal, our thoughts send the signal out. I am suffering. This is another thing people, they get caught up in. Words. Words are nothing but spells. They lock you into a certain frequency, a certain vibration, a certain image. So it's not the word per se, it's the frequency, how it makes you feel. What image does it put in your mind to keep you locked into to have an emotion about? So it ain't actually the word. But when somebody say I am suffering, that's not a good word. It's gonna pull your emotions if it's high. If you saying to yourself, I am suffering. Okay. I would never use that word anyway. I'm suffering. I'm saying I'm going through a challenge right now. So that word alone, it wouldn't send me in a low frequency. It would be like, okay, let's have fun. Let's see how this gonna turn out. That's why I tell y'all, turn it to a play. And I meant to kind of correct that. Well, no, I meant what I said when I said turn it to a play, and it ain't nothing serious going on, because y'all know when you take something serious, it changed the whole perspective of that situation when you take it seriously. But when you know that who you are and what's going on, you'll be like, everything working out in my favor. Whatever it is that I'm going through, everything is working out in my favor. So it ain't about the words, it's about the spell that have you in a trance. That's why they call them spelling words. The word have you in a trance, and based upon whatever trance you in, you're going to lock yourself into a certain frequency vibration, and that is going to attract events and people or whatever in your life. So it ain't the word, it's how it's making you feel. Because you can say, oh, I'm struggling. But then if you looking at, oh, okay, I know this ain't real, that word ain't going to do nothing to you. So it ain't the word, it's what's in your mind about the word that's going to cause you to vibrate on a certain level. Okay, our thoughts send the signal out, I am suffering, and our emotions, I am suffering, draws into our lives an event to match that emotional frequency. That is a good reason to suffer. A good reason to suffer. In a very real sense, we are asking for proof of the existence of the universal intelligence at all times, and it sends us feedback in our external environment at all times. That is how powerful we are. I meant to tell y'all something. Okay, y'all know that video that I posted, I think yesterday. Yeah, I think, yeah. Or it could have been, yeah, it was yesterday. I posted a video and it said something about the, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was the day before yesterday. That video was talking about the golden ticket or whatever, right? And so yesterday I got a notification because I follow Tyrese Gibson on Instagram, right? And I said, ain't this some shit? If y'all go to his Instagram page, y'all will see I think it's this movie premiere that he got going on. But guess what it's talking about? It's got this big ass golden ticket there. I said, you shitting me. There are no coincidence though. Okay, it was another incident. See, I'm aware that I can be aware. So when certain stuff happens to me, I look at certain things based upon what's going on within me, how I can utilize this to help me with what I'm trying to do now. I am very observative when it comes to my surroundings because I know I can use anything for me at the any given moment. Everything is for me. It's all everything starts in your mind. Once you change your perception of something, then everything starts to change around you. But you have to be a strong individual to do that. I can't put I can't stop putting the emphasis on it because you're gonna have to stand in who you are when you get familiar with who you are because people are going to try to convince you that you don't know what you're talking about. Everybody want everybody to somewhat be the same or somewhat be similar. I don't. My thing is when I'm talking to a person, I just want them to know who they are. Don't be sitting here regurgitating things that other people say and saying they're your ideas. Okay, when we're talking about thoughts and feelings, we're talking about you. Whatever this book's saying, it's not about how they saying it. It's about how you perceive it. That's just like how I say I create my reality. How can I say this? It's techniques that you can use. But if you try to create your reality and you use those techniques and they didn't go well for you, the only thing is that you gotta find what works for you and you gotta work that. However, you started to get the results, not based upon what somebody else said, but based upon what you thought of for you to do at that exact moment. And a lot of times, what you use at that exact moment, it may not work in another moment. You're going to have to be aware of what's working and what's not working. Because a lot of times, there are things that you can continue to use to reap certain results based upon what it is, though. What type of energy you up against. Because certain energies don't look at faces. Certain energies requires a higher level of thinking to even attract certain, information or certain people like that in your life. So in order for you to attract certain things, you automatically got to get yourself on another level in order to even experience that type of energy. Okay. In a very real sense, we are asking for proof of the existence of universal intelligence at all times. It sends us back feedback. That's what I was just telling y'all about Tyrese yesterday with the golden ticket. I said, what that really puzzled me. But it didn't. I'm like, here we go again. Because when stuff like that happen to me, I'm like, wow, thank you. I'm so grateful. When I see something that kind of like put some kind of awareness in my face, or if I experience something and and I'm like, okay, I just wrote a piece about that 2 days ago and here it is today. Or I just had this thought about meeting this person or having a conversation to this particular individual and here we are today. It's like, that's what they mean by effortless. When you put your mind on certain things will be pulled towards you. People will call you. Certain experience you'll be able to experience. But it's like the only effort is the mind power, not the physical action. The physical action is only happening because of what you did mentally, not physically. Okay, moving on. And it sends us feedback in our external environment. Okay, wait. We are asking for the proof of the existence of universal intelligence at all times. And it sends us feedback in our external environment at all times. This is how powerful we are. The question at the heart of this book is this. Why don't we send out a signal that will produce a positive outcome for us? How can we change so that the signal we send out matches what we intend to produce in our lives? We will change when we fully commit to the belief that by choosing the thoughts signal we send out, we will produce an effect that is observable and unexpected. With this objective intelligence, we are not punished for our sins. That is, our thoughts, feelings, and actions, but by them. Let me read that again. With this objective intelligence, we are not punished for our sins. That is, our thoughts, feelings, and actions, but by them. We are punished by them, not for them. Right. So if you say that I am never good at anything I do, I can never attract right people in my life. I can see these are your thoughts. You don't be punished for having them. See, you can have a thought, but the thing is when you act upon it. So when you act upon something, then it's by that thing. You said this is who I am. So it's not the actual thing, it's you believing in the actual thing that causes it to affect you or not affect you. It's all based on you. With this objective, okay, by them. When we project into the field a signal based on the thoughts and feelings such as suffering produced by some undesirable experiences in our past, is it any wonder that the field responds in the same negative way? How many times have you uttered these words, or very similar ones? I can't believe it. Why does this always happen to me? Based on your new understanding of the nature of reality, do you now see that those statements reflect your acceptance of the Newtonian partisan model in which you are a victim of cause and effect. Do you see that you are fully capable of causing and effect yourself? Do you see that instead of responding in the manner above, you could be asking yourself, how can I think, feel, and behave differently to produce the effect results that I want? That's right. Our mission then is to willfully move into the state of consciousness that allows us to connect to universal intelligence, make direct contact with the field of possibilities, and send out a clear signal that we truly expect to change and to see the results that we want in the form of feedback produced in our lives. You know, when I was reading this, see, I was in my head while I was reading it. I said, that's why we had to have some type of programming once we got here. We had to have frequently training from our parents based on certain programs because we are powerful. So, based upon the things that we normally accepted, then this is why we as individuals go through the things we go through. Because it's like, okay, you can use your mind or you can use somebody else's mind due to the fact that you're not aware of how to use your mind. But the older you get and the more you experience this reality and you find out really what's going on, the more you're capable of using your mind, the more you're able to program yourself. You won't need nobody else's programming because you're learning the things about the reality you're in, meaning the world, how things are, how things work on this realm. Then you learning things about yourself. Therefore, you learning things about others. That's why they say know thyself. The more you know about yourself, the more you know about the struggle you went through, about, all the confusion you've been through, about all the fear you've been through, then the more you're going to know about somebody else. Like I told you, everybody is you pushed out. All it is energy, not the physicality. That's how everybody is you pushed out. Because you once experienced any type of emotion, any type of energy that an individual goes through, whether we want to believe it or not, we have experienced the feeling of what it is to be really abundant. We have felt the experience of knowing what it is to be loved. We have felt, when I say experience, the emotions. We have went through these energies. All the energies and emotions that we say, wow, I can't wait till I experience that. Once in our life, we have experienced it, whether we want to realize it or, be able to remember it. We have experienced these emotions, these thoughts. So all it is that you have to put yourself in a mental state to actually feel it and believe it and to paint that picture, mean imagining it for yourself. So, like I said, programs are only there for those individuals who are not aware of themselves. That's why programs are in place. So they can have certain rules to follow because they haven't invented or created any for them own. But once you create your programs, once you have a vision for your life, then you start to create based upon those new programs. Nothing is set stone in this reality. Nothing is set stone in this reality. You can choose how you want to think about yourself and about others. You can choose that. You can choose what type of lifestyle you want to experience, but it is going to require you to focus. And it is going to require you to be consistent. And it is going to require you to really learn the skills that you need in order to get to that level of mindset. Because every lifestyle comes with a mind state. It comes with some type of character, some type of skill, or some type of information that you're going to have to use in order for it to keep you on that level. Because the more you know, the higher you want to go, the more knowledge you're going to have to know. Because the knowledge is going to hold you there. And so based upon that knowledge, it's going to keep you focusing on certain things and not on the lesser things. So that's why when we begin to know ourselves, we have to trust our intuitive abilities, because it's a lot of times things that's going to be in front of us and the things that we have done in our past that hasn't been fully, you know, how can I say, the things in our past that we've been creating that hasn't fully released itself out of our reality. That's what they call the residue of our old thinking. The residue of our old thinking has to fully be released from our reality. And the only way that can happen is if you stay true to your new self. Your new self is going to replace all that old energy, any old energy you got. The new thing is your new self, your new ideas, your new perception of self is going to wipe out all that. And the only way it can come back in those energies is if you allow it. And the only reason why you're going to need those experiences, those past tense experience with new people, is because you haven't fully learned who you are. Okay, let's go on. Our mission then is to willfully move into the state of consciousness that allow us to connect to the universal intelligence, make direct contact with the field of possibility, and send out a clear signal that we truly expect to change and to see the results that we want in the form of feedback produced in our lives. Ask for quantum feedback. When you do create purposefully, request a sign from the quantum consciousness that you have made contact with it. Dare to ask for synchronicities related to your specific desired outcome. When you do, you are being bold enough to want to know that this consciousness is real and that it is aware of your efforts. All synchronicities is something that gives you confirmation that it's responding to something that you said. And what I mean by confirmation, like I was telling y'all about, like the Tyrese thing, when I put out the golden ticket, he put out his golden ticket. Or how else can I use this? Let's say you stated an intent for the day, right? Okay, the synchronicity, whatever, based upon your intent. My intent is to meet somebody that would allow me to pursue a few of my, one of my goals. You know what your goals is. They don't know what your goals is. But based upon your intent, you might meet somebody and then they start talking about a particular thing, whatever that can help you with your goals. That's a synchronicity. Because it's like y'all was in alignment. You was aware based upon what this person was talking about that you needed for your life. And so some kind of way, y'all ended up in the same environment, and there y'all go. That was that missing piece that you needed to help you with your goals. So, I was thinking about this. Does that make a person, an individual, fake? You know how they say go within and get the get those get the messages that you need from your intuitive self, from your higher self, so you can go further. But once I think about that, I don't believe that you lied to yourself. Because they was like, well, if you got all what you have, if you have all that you need within, then what's the point of having external forces that you can interact with that can also help you? Because within the external force, I keep telling y'all, everybody is you pushed out. So within this physical plane, you're going to need others to help you along the way on your journey, because this is a physical reality. Everything just can't be done with you. And the reason being also is because it's only one of you. And the more whatever it is that you do expand, you're going to need multiple of people that can handle tasks that you can't handle because you're not able to do it now because you done got so big. So you're going to need other people to handle things for you because what you have to focus on is what you're going to have to focus on. You're not going to be able to juggle so many things the bigger you get. That's if you're working to be on that level of a lifestyle, though, you know. So I just wanted to tell y'all what synchronicity is. It's like synchronicity. It's like, wow, I can't believe this shit. It's like how they call, you know, how they say, what's the coincidence of me bumping into somebody that could help me move further in my life today? You know what I'm saying? You ask yourself these questions, but only you can be aware of them based upon what you want and based upon your intent for that day. That's how your synchronicities are going to show up or not show up for that day. But it's on you. It's on you to know it. But within each moment of your life, you always have things showing up. You always having things showing up within each moment. Let's just say a person can say, well, if I'm stuck in my house and I'm just watching TV all day or whatever, it's something, whether it's your inner voice talking to you and telling you, let's go out today or let's do something. Or if it's telling you to watch a particular show and listen for a certain type of message, it's always something going on. But if you're aware, it's up to you to be aware of it or not. But it's always something going on. And a lot of time we ignore it though. Okay, so okay. For synchronicities related to your specific desired outcome, when you do, you are being bold enough to know. You're being bold enough to want to know that this consciousness is real and that it is aware of your your efforts. Once you accept this, then you can create in a state of joy and inspiration. This principle asks us to lay down what we think we know, surrender to the unknown, and observe the effects in the form of feedback in our lives. And that is the best way we learn. When we get positive indications, when we see our external circumstances shift in a favorable direction, we know that whatever we did inside of us was right. See, that's what it's talking about. See, that's why I'm telling y'all. Only you know, based upon what's going on with you, your thoughts. That's how, what I say, you become psychic. Because when it's something that's aligning with your vision, that's you being able to pinpoint you outside of you. But if you don't know you, you're not going to be able to read something to say, okay, that's it, or that ain't it. That's you utilizing your psychic abilities about you outside of you. That's how it works. And like I said, I'm going to read that again. When we get positive indications, positive do not mean good. Positive just means something that can help us. Something that is taking us in the right direction. Because see, in my eyes, with the way I look at perceive things, even if something negative, uh, even if it's something that people perceive to be negative, if it helps me, it's positive. For me, it's positive. That's just like when I look back on a lot of things that happened to me in my past, I said it was negative. But now with my state of mind, when I looked at it, I said, oh, holy shit. It was just something that was strengthening me and making me aware of the choices. I'm not the choices, well, yeah, the choices too, but making me aware of the things I wanted. Making me aware of some of the characteristics an individual have due to the type, due to their words. That's why I tell y'all, it gets triggering because what I'm trying to say is, it's like when you learn what not, you can't judge a person based on how they look though. You have to be trained at this when it comes to kind of being a psychic of the energy you reading in front of you. Because you're not reading that person. Because a lot of times a person could tell you something, but it ain't true. It's not true. It's just they telling you, they use their words to woo and wow you, manipulate you. They're using their words, their spells, to put you in a trance based upon what they think you want. Not saying they have it, because they probably don't got it. But if they use particular words, then it'll hypnotize you and reel you in their world. And then before you know it, you'll be in a situation that you didn't even want to be in. But it was their words, or it was something material that they had that captivated you and pulled you into their world, and you wasn't aware that they wasn't genuine. So that's how that happens. So as we when we get positive indications, when we see our external circumstances shift in our favorable directions, that's what it's about. When you, because that's why I say you got to be careful. I keep putting the emphasis on that, because it's like you really got to be careful when you see certain things and when you experience certain things. You have to know. I don't know how you do that. I can't tell you how to do it. I know how I do it, but it takes training. You have to constantly put yourself in a position to experience certain things for you, so you can recognize it whenever you need to pinpoint it. That's how it works. Whenever you need to recognize something, you'll be able to recognize it because you trained yourself to see that. So when it comes to being psychic and stuff like that, that's an individual thing. Nobody can teach you how to do that. They can give you some techniques how to do it, but they can't teach you. You will have to like gradually get in, grow into understanding how the process works for you. We know that whatever we did inside of us was right. Naturally, we'll remember what we did so we can do it again, like I was just saying. So when events begin to occur in your life, you can choose to be like a scientist in the process of discovery. Why not monitor any changes to see that the universe is favorable to your efforts and prove to yourself that you are that powerful. So how can we connect with that state of consciousness? Quantum physics is nonsense. Newtonian physics postulated that there is always a linear series of interactions that are predictable and repeatable. You know, if A plus B equals C, then C plus D, plus E equals F. But in the wacky world of the quantum model of reality, everything is intercommunicating within a higher dimensional field of information that is holistically holistic, holistically entangled beyond space and time as we know it. Woo. One reason it said that too, yeah. Woo. One reason why quantum physics is so elusive is that for years we've been accustomed to thinking based on our senses. If we measure and reaffirm reality with our senses, we are stuck in the Newtonian paradigm. Instead, the quantum model demands that our understanding of reality not based on our senses. Quantum physics is nonsense. In the process of creating future reality via the quantum model, our senses should be the last to experience what the mind has created. The very last thing we experience is sensory feedback. Why? The quantum is a multi-dimensional reality that exists beyond your senses, in a realm where there is nobody, no thing, no time. Thus, to move into that domain and create from that paradigm, you'll need to forget about your body for a little while. Now, this is what they call the outer body experience. I love to do outer body experience. Outer body experience is you observing you. That's right. When yourself do something, you just watch. That's why I love video myself, because I can literally watch myself then. But to be an observer of self, you got to take yourself out the equation. When you do something, say, what type of advice or what type of information would I give somebody who did that? Don't say I did that. Say, a individual. Don't say I, just say the the individual did this. Because when you put yourself in it, it's like, I did this. No, this individual did this. So if this individual did this, how can I help? How can I help them better themselves today? Meaning, I'm talking about myself now, but I'm taking myself out of my body, out of my mind, in order to have a good, close look at what's going on here. I'm not going to be emotional about it. I'm not going to be judgmental about it. But if I do, it's going to be my true, authentic way of viewing things, because that ain't me. Because I took me out of the equation. Okay. So, create from that paradigm, you need to forget about your body for a little while. You'll also have to temporarily shift your awareness away from your external environment. All those things that you identify with in your life, your spouse, your kids, your possessions, and your problems are all part of your identity. Through them, you identify with the outer world. And finally, you will have to lose track of linear time. That is, in the moment when you are intentionally observing a potential future experience, you will have to be so present that your mind no longer facilitates between memories of the past and expectations of a same as usual future. Isn't it ironic that to influence your reality, environment, heal your body, or change some event in your future time, you have to completely let go of your external world? No thing. You have to release your awareness of your body. No body. You have to lose track of time. No time. In effect, you have to become pure consciousness. Do that. See, that's what they was talking about on the Untethered Soul. If y'all go back and look at some of the stuff that I was talking about in the Untethered Soul, it's talking about the same thing in this book, but just in another, in another perspective. But it's the same thing. All it's telling you is that when we attach ourselves to that emotion, then we have just identified with it. We have made it a part of us. But we choosing to do that, even in pain, even in confusion, even in whatever it is. We don't have to attach ourselves to certain emotions. We don't have to attach ourselves to certain experience. It's just like you play a video game and you jump off a cliff. You say, "Oh shit, I'm dead for the day." No, you're gonna try it again. But in some things, in reality, you can't have do-overs. So you have to keep that in mind as well. It's like, you know how people say, "Well, I'm here another day." I hear people say that all the time, and they do not be enthused about being here another day. They be like, "Lord, I wish the Lord take me home, because I don't have nothing else to do here. This world is crazy. People are mean, blah, blah, blah." You see what I'm saying? So they're going to keep getting experiences that allow them to experience those feelings and emotions, those feelings and thoughts that they having about their reality, because it is their reality. They can feel whatever way they want to feel about it, but people don't know this. Do that, and you have. I'm gonna write. Blah, 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 blah. Let go of your external world. No thing. You have to release your awareness of your body. No body. You have to lose track of time. No time. In effect, you have to become pure consciousness. Do that, and you have dominion over the environment, your body, and time. I affectionately call these the big three. And since the subatomic world of the field is made purely of consciousness, you cannot enter any other way than via pure consciousness yourself. You cannot walk through the door into the quantum field as a somebody. You must enter as a nobody. Nas. That's what I should have played it, so I can say, "Y'all play that song back." I might find it before I get out here. I'm gonna play that song for y'all. Nobody. When you're nobody, that means I can do it all over again. If I fuck up or whatever it is, long as my day work in my favor, okay, that's the goal. For things to turn out in my favor, for things to happen for me. And like I said, sometimes you will be tested. Test don't mean that it ain't working in your favor. Test just mean that I'm getting better understanding. If something you say, oh, this is so awful, why did this happen to me? All it's gonna do is test your ability. Or let me tell you also the downside of this. Like if you're not like very detailed about your intent, things could show up in a horrible way. Meaning, let's just say you say my intent is to attract $10,000, right? And then all of a sudden you get in this car crash, or all of a sudden you go to the bank and you get shot. You see what I'm saying? You can get your money, but since you wasn't so precise or detailed about it, but you gonna receive it in a horrible way. You get what I'm saying? So in that aspect, it did work out in your favor, just in a unfavorable way. So you still got what you wanted. You still gonna get your money, but you didn't want to get it that way. So that's why you have to be very clear about a lot of things that you want, because it can show up in ways that you wouldn't believe, but you'll still be getting the thing you want. As one thing I asked for in my past, I got it, but I'm like, why I had to receive it that way? It's like any man, my biggest thing used to be back in my young days, which I don't have that problem now. I love loving me. I love loving my kids. I love creating my reality. But if it show up, that's not my priority now. My main priority. It used to be. Let me tell y'all this story. About I wanted a man. And that's what I used to say, a man. Just give me a man, a nice man that can provide for me, that this and that and that. And that can show me something different about myself. And I got it, y'all. But the thing is that this man, he came with a lot of baggage. He came with so much baggage, so much stuff that I started down myself. That it opened me up to a different reality, but it also reminded me of so much of my past. So I was enduring my past with a new reality because I wasn't, detailed about what I wanted out of this manifestation. So I always been playing with this, y'all. When I say I'm not playing with individuals, I'm just playing with my powers to create the reality that I want to create. That's all I'm playing with. But yeah, I had to tell y'all this story. Cause I saw it, I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. I seen the changes. I seen my past within my present situation, and I also seen the unknown because I experienced so much stuff that I haven't even thought of experiencing within that relationship as well. So I was getting the good with the bad. But it worked out in my favor because I'm like, oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay, I get it. But it wasn't wrong. It was right. Because wrong could be, like I said, you need more clarity about whatever it is about yourself that you're not understanding. Okay. Your brain has the innate ability to harness the skills. Stay tuned for more. Harness the skills. Stay tuned for more. That's what I was telling y'all about. You got to figure out whatever way it is that you need to figure it out to do the things that you got to do. When something worked for you, always pay attention to what's working. When something ain't working for you, always pay attention to that. People be thinking that I be losing my mind a lot of times when I say the things that I say, how I can read people. I don't just bust out and say I can read people. I just listen to them. I see what they say. I see how they are trying to convince me to buy into what they're saying. Just be you. That's the best thing anybody can do is just be yourself. Because at the end of the day, whatever you think you hiding, it's gonna come out. Because you can only keep lies up with more lies. And then somewhere in them lies, you going to entrap yourself. Somewhere in them lies. What time is it? 8:45. Okay. When you understand that you are fully equipped biologically to do all this, leave this world behind and enter a new reality beyond space and time, you'll be naturally inspired to apply it in your life. Absolutely. Going beyond space and time. What does it mean to be beyond space and time? These are constructs that humans created to explain physical phenomena involving locations in our sense of the temporal. When we talk about a glass sitting on a table, we reference it in terms of location, where it is in space, how long it has occupied that location. See, when I talk about space, I said that if this is a good space for me, based upon the person that I'm interacting with, everybody got a space. Does this space come with a lot of toxic stuff? Does this space come with a lot of informative stuff, informational stuff? Does this space have a lot of high energy or low energy? What does this space requires? When you get a feel of how that space is, then you'll know if it's for you. Because the space is all it is just who is this person really? Who is this person? What does it come with? Does this space come with, peace? Or does it come with a lot of conflict or confusion? You see what I'm saying? You know, people be knowing. Well, I can't, people be like, well, maybe it's me, or maybe I'm making them do that. Okay, whatever the case is, you still got to figure it out for yourself. That's why knowing thyself is very important. I'm gonna say that all the time. Um, Going beyond space and time. What does it mean to? Oh, we already read it, didn't it? Yep, I already did it. How long? Okay, as humans were obsessed with these two conceptions. When we talk about a glass sitting on a table, I'm just gonna read the whole thing, y'all. We reference it in terms of location, where it is in space, how long it has occupied that location. As humans, we are obsessed with these two conceptions: where we are, how long we've been there, how long we will remain, where we will go next. Even though time is not something that we can actually sense, we feel it passing in much the same way that we sense our location in space. We feel the seconds, minutes, and hours passing by, just as we feel our bodies pressed against our chairs and our feet planted on the ground. In the quantum field, the infinite probabilities for materializing reality are beyond time and space, because a potential doesn't yet exist. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't have a location or occupy a position temporarily. Anything that doesn't have a material existence, that hasn't had its wave of probability collapse into a particle reality, exists beyond space and time. Exists beyond space and time. Since the quantum field is nothing but immaterial probability, it is outside of space and time. As soon as we observe one of those infinite probabilities and give it materiality, it acquires those two characteristics. To enter the field into a similar state. So, what it's saying is that that's what I was trying to tell you about the if the tree falls in the forest and nobody out there to hear it, does it really make a sound? When you put out your intentions and you are constantly trying to convince yourself that it's going to show up. It's going to show up. It's not about what you say that is really convincing it. It's like the more you feel like you have to convince yourself, the more that you telling yourself that it's not going to work, or you don't believe in it, because why you this is a physical world. So why, if you're convinced that something is going to happen, why aren't you not preparing yourself for that to happen? Because you know it's going to happen. That's how it works. People can say, well, I need to keep saying stuff because I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Well, it's not about what you say. It's about what you're being. And if you're being a certain way, then it's going to cause you to act and feel a certain way. And what you're being is that particular person. Or you're gaining those skills to become that particular person, which is the preparation, excuse me, y'all, the preparation for that particular reality. Because you have to prepare to be in this new reality. Because you're going to have to become a new person. You're going to have to become a new person. Because within each new reality, each new dimension comes with another level of people. And within all status of people, the upper class, the lower class, or whatever, these people can manipulate people. It's a lot of lower class people out here driving BMWs and Mercedes Benz, and they got a pocket full of money. But you don't know how they got it. But they still lower class because you thinking, well, they got this and they got that. You don't know how they got that. And they can say you a story of how they got it. Then you got the wealthy people. They got the same thing, you got it. But you don't know what type of person this is. Maybe that is they current life. Meaning that their day to day is this. This is their lifestyle every day. But you don't know what it's gonna require to be a part of that lifestyle from this particular person. You don't know the stuff they're gonna put you through. You don't know if this is gonna be an authentic person that really wanna help you. So that's why I say you have to be mindful of the energies that you are around, because they can look like one thing, but they turn out to be another thing. Mm-hmm. Ba, 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 ba. To enter the field, enter a similar state. Great. We have the power to make material a reality of our own choosing by selecting it from the quantum field. But we have to somehow access that field. We're always connected to it. But how do we get that field to respond to us? If we're constantly imitating energy and therefore sending information to the field and receiving information from it, how do we communicate more effectively with it? In upcoming chapters, I will take in upcoming chapters, I will talk at length about how to enter the field. For now, what you need to know is that to enter the field, which exists beyond space and time, you have to enter a similar state. That's what I was just telling y'all. It's about being. If you want a new lifestyle, you have to be that new person that's living that lifestyle. It's like I visualize myself living in this nice sub what's the word I'm looking for? Suburban neighborhood, right? So if you can visualize this person, what do they got on? What do they smell like? What they working at? See, you got to visualize all this stuff. It gonna open up your mind like, okay, she work here. She drive this. She got these type of friends. She got this house. See, that alone that's a new character. That's a new character. So you have to be that character. Y'all have to become one. You can't say, well, I'm going to act like that character, but then still do the same thing I've been doing for the past 3 years. That's not you being that character. That's you trying to, that they call fake it till you make it. That's what you trying to do. You have to actually be what it is. If that's going to happen again, I'm like, okay, here you go. But it's not. But we have to somehow access that field. Hold on. Great. We have the power to make material a reality of our own choosing by selecting it from the quantum field. But we have to somehow access that field. We are always connected to it, but how do we get to that field how do we get the field to respond to us? If we're constantly emitting energy and therefore sending information to the field and receiving information from it, how do we communicate more effectively with it? In upcoming chapters, I will talk at length about how to enter the field. For now, what you need to know is that to enter the field, which exists beyond space and time, you have to enter a similar state. Do you ever have any experience when time and space seems to disappear? Think of those moments when you're driving driving. That's another form of hypnotic state. When you're driving and your thoughts are focused on some concern you have. When that happens, you forget about your body. You are no longer aware of how you feel in space. You forget about the environment. The external world disappears, and you forget about time. You have no idea how long you are tranced out. At moments like this, you've been at the threshold of the door that allows you to enter the quantum field and gain access to working with universal intelligence. In essence, you've already made thought more real than anything else. Later on, I will provide instructions on how to move into that state of consciousness regularly to access the field and to communicate more directly with the universal intelligence that emanates all things. Change your mind, change your life. As this chapter has progressed, I've led you from the notion that mind and matter are fully separable to the quantum model, which states that they are inseparable. Mind is matter, and matter is mind. So all those times in the past when you tried to change, maybe your thinking was fundamentally limited. You likely believe that it was always circumstance outside of you that needed to change. If I don't have so many other commitments, if I didn't have so many other commitments, I could lose the excess weight and then I'll be happy. Well, we've all stated some variation on that theme. If this, then that. Cause and effect. What if you could change your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, and your way of being outside the bounds of time and space? What if you could change ahead of time and see the effects of those internal changes in your external world? You can. What has profoundly and positively changed my life and the lives of so many others is the understanding that changes one's mind and thereby having new experiences and gaining new insights is simply a matter of breaking the habit of being oneself. When you overcome your senses, when you understand that you are not bound by the chains of your past, when you live a life that is greater than your body, your environment, and time, all things are possible. The universal intelligence that emanates the existence of all things will both surprise and delight you. It wants nothing more than to provide you with access to all you want. And I believe that. In short, when you change your mind, you change your life. And a smile and a child shall lead them. Before we can move on, I'd like to share a story that illustrates just how powerful and effective being a contact with the greater intelligence can be in making change an integral part of your life. It says intelligence can be in making change an integral part of your life. My children, now young adults, have used a meditation similar to the process I will describe to you in part 3 of this book. As a result of practicing these techniques, they've manifested some remarkable adventures. Since their childhood, we've had an agreement that they work on creating material things or events that they want to experience. However, our rule is that I don't interfere or assist with producing the outcome. They have to create intended realities on their own, using their minds and interacting with the quantum field. My 20-something daughter studies art in college. It was springtime, and I asked what she wanted to manifest during an upcoming summer break. She said a laundry list. Instead of the typical college student's home for the summer job, she wanted to work in Italy, learn and experience new things, visit at least 6 Italian cities, and spend 1 week in Florence. Since she had friends there, since she had friends there. She wanted to work for the first 6 weeks of the summer, making a decent wage, then spend the rest of the break at home. I commended my daughter for her clear vision of what she wanted and reminded her that universal intelligence would orchestrate the way her dream summer would manifest. She would take care of the what. A greater consciousness would handle the how. Since my daughter is practiced in the art of thinking and feeling ahead of the actual experience, I merely reminded her to not only set an intentions every day with regard to what the summer would look like, what people she would see, what events would transpire, what places she would visit, but also to feel what it would be like to experience these things. I asked her to create the vision in her mind until it was so clear and real that the thought she was thinking became the experience, and her brain's synapses began to wire the information as if it was a reality. If she was still being the young woman in the dorm room with the dream of going to Italy, then she was still the same person living the same reality. So while it was still March, she had to begin being that young woman who'd been in Italy for half the summer. Did y'all understand that? That's why I was tell y'all, it's about you being. You have to be that person. You got to get a vision of what it looks like, what kind of car they drive, this and that. So that right there going to put you in a space of what I need to be doing, how I need to be preparing myself. So the actual initial thing is you got to already put yourself in that state of mind that you already living that life. Not that I'm going to get that life, it's that I'm already living that life because you already experienced it in your mind. You already saw what it looked like with it being you. So she had to begin being that young woman who'd been in Italy for half the summer. No problem, she said. She'd had experiences like this before, when she wanted to be in a music video and when she wanted to experience an unlimited shopping spree. Both of these transpired in perfect elegance. I then reminded my daughter, you can't get up from where your mental creation of this experience is. Wait. I then reminded my daughter, you can't get up from your mental creation of this experience as the same person you were when you sat down. You have to get up from your seat as if you just had the most amazing summer of your life. I got it, she said. She understood my reminder that each day she had to change to a new state of being, and that after every mental creation, she was to go about her day living in that elevated mood of gratitude generated by having had that experience. My daughter called a few weeks later. Dad, the university is offering an art history summer course in Italy. I can get the cost of the program and all the expenses down from 7,000 to 4,000. Can you help pay for that? Well, it's not that I am an unsupportive parent, but this didn't strike me as what she had originally stated as her target. She was trying to force and control the outcome of this possible possible destiny instead of allowing the quantum field to orchestrate the events in a way that was right for her. I advised her to really inhabit that Italian trip and to think, feel, speak, and dream in Italian until she got lost in the experience. A few weeks later, when she called again, her excitement was pliable. She had been in the library, chatting with her art history teacher, and they eventually slipped into speaking Italian. Both spoke the language fluently. At that point, her teacher said, I just remembered. One of my colleagues needs someone to teach level 1 Italian to some American students who will be studying in Italy this summer. Of course, my daughter was hired. Get this, not only would she be paid to teach all expenses covered, but she would be in 6 different cities in Italy for 6 weeks. Spend the last 6 weeks in Florence and be able to be home for the second half of the summer. She manifests her dream job in every aspect of her original vision. This wasn't a case of a young woman pursuing this opportunity with the traditional dog determined to find a program, searching the internet, hounding professors, and so forth. Instead of following cause and effect, my daughter changed her state of being to the intent extent that she was causing an effect. She was living by the quantum law. As she electromagnetically connected to an intended destiny that existed in the quantum, her body was then drawn to the future event. The experience bound her. The outcome was unpredictable. It came in a way that she in no way expected. It was synchronistic, and there was no doubt that it was the result of her internal efforts. Think about that for a moment. What opportunities are out there waiting to find you? Who are you being in this moment and every other moment? Is your being that way going to attract to you all that you desire? Can you change your state of being? And once you inhabit a new mind, you can And once you inhabit a new mind, can you observe a new destiny? The answers are what the rest of this book is all about. And I think this is the end. But like I said, y'all, I gotta get me another bookmark. I go to Books a Million today. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so I'm finna find that song for y'all so y'all can hear it within this video, because y'all have to know, when you become spiritual, you are nobody, because you can now astro travel wherever you want. You can go wherever you want, but you have to know that you can do this. You can't believe other people's uh opinions about things. You have to really know.
You need to help me. Get the DJ.
You have to really know. So with that said, you guys, I'm going to play this song, and I hope everyone have a beautiful, beautiful days. And until next time, I'm out.
One city, one country, one state. Some place to be nobody. Some place to be. Some place you wouldn't know probably. Yeah. Yeah. If Chappelle moved to Ghana to find his peace, then I'm rolling where the servants always roaming. I'm packing my bags and going. It's a challenging act. It's a balancing act. Visit beautiful places, it's more out here than the trap. Houses in Long Island, they always found him. House in the South, a nigga barely got out. Sunny LA, remember calls with Dr. Dre. He told me, don't let the palm trees fool you, nigga, be safe. Me and my higher self, we often would speak. Somehow we lost the connection, might meet a Joshua tree. And it's been bothering me. Too many wavy women, gotta log out of IG. Can't be my ace DMing, no kidding. It's hard to move like a civilian. I write the truth cause I live it, not like you musical niggas. We did it big and they bigots. They rather shoot than write tickets. What it feel like to go get it, what it feel like to go miss it. In one city, one country, one state. Some place to be nobody. Some place to be. Some place you wouldn't know probably. Some place to be nobody. Dog bought a plane, said let's go to Paris. That's where baguettes are from, French bread that's long and narrow. I like the other definition, rectangular carrots. The concept of the song is rather esoteric. This girl said in Grenada we should go get married. Broke the meaning down of the Virgin Mary. And you got your own place. My favorite part of the night when you text me that you made it home safe. I'm contemplating at the home base how I'm used to breakfast in the ghetto sipping OJ. That's a picture right there, a moment in time. Before anybody wanted a photo of mine. Before the internet energy and social decline destroyed the vibe, fooling us with the headlines, keeping us blind. Vultures eat you alive. Take heed to the signs. Wishing I find one city, one country, one state. Some place to be nobody. Some place to be. Some place you wouldn't know probably. Some place to be nobody.
All my time I spent focused on my freedom now. Why would I join them when I know that I can beat them now? They put their words on me and they can eat them now. That's probably why they keep on telling me I'm needed now. They tried to box me out while taking what they want from me. I spent too many years living too uncomfortably, making room for people who didn't like the labor but wanted the spoils, greedy, selfish behavior. Now let me give it to you balanced and with clarity. I don't need to turn myself into a parody. I don't do the shit you do for popularity. They clearly didn't understand when I said I get out apparently. My awareness like Keanu in the Matrix. I'm saving souls and y'all complaining about my lateness. Now it's illegal for someone to walk in greatness. They want the same, but they don't take risks. Now the world will get to see its own reflection, and the anointed can pursue their own direction. And if you're wrong and you're too proud to hear correction, walk into the hole you dug yourself, fuck a projection. See me in my freedom taking all my land back. They said a lot against me thinking I just stand back. I got my legs beneath me, I got my hands back. A lot of people sabotaged, they couldn't stand that. I turned the other cheek, I took blow after blow. There's so much crisis in the world cause you reap what you sow. When you keep what you know is meant for someone else, the ditch you dig for them, you might just end up in yourself. I'm in the secret place, I keep a sacred space. They keep showing their hands, but keep hiding their face. If I'm a messenger, you block me, then you block the message. So aggressive, the world you made is what you're left with. Pride and ego over love and truth is fuck reckless. Y'all niggas got a death wish, the stupid leaves me breathless.
Some place to be. Yeah, ain't ducking nothing. Just might have to build my own city where y'all need a real nigga passport to enter. Miss Hill, we ain't going nowhere. They gonna have to deal with us. Make them uncomfortable. Yeah.